Good morning again, ladies. Okay, these will be the answers to homework number 9. I decided I'm just going to run through all of them very quickly, even though I answered a bunch of them in yesterday's live session. And so make sure you have homework 9 out in front of you. Number 1, describe the present-day country of Greece using at least 4 physical and geographical features discussed in the introduction. And so here was a possible answer. Present-day Greece is in the southern part of the Balkan Peninsula. Greece, the mainland of Greece is mountainous, and there were many inlets surrounded by over 2,000 islands. Still are, is what I should say. Number 2, what 4 cultures are together known as the Aegean civilization? The Cycladic, the Minoan, the Mycenaean, and the Trojan. Now, you could have gotten those answers from the next sets of questions. Number 3, unlike ancient Egypt and ancient Israel, from where does most information about the Aegean civilization come? Unlike ancient Egypt and ancient Israel, where they could read what was left behind, the ancient Egyptians left hieroglyphics. You remember that? And the ancient Israelites used the Hebrew Bible to record their history. And so historians were able to use those for for the Aegean civilization. They relied upon archaeological studies. So the archaeologists had to go in, and rather than just read, they had to go in and find what they could find to kind of give them clues about those societies, those civilizations. Number 4, using physical and geographical features, describe the Cyclades. About 200 islands east of the Greek mainland in the southern Aegean Sea. 5a, how have archaeologists learned about Cycladic ways of life? Well, we kind of talked about that by archaeological studies, by studying artifacts. They had to actually find items of interest and decide what they were used for. 5b, what are 4 Cycladic lifestyles they have been able to learn? Fishing, trading, farming, and craftsmen. For instance, they found a lot of pottery, and so it took craftsmen to make the pottery. Number 6a, about when did the Cycladic culture begin, and about when did it begin to weaken? From about 3000 BC, they kind of dated it back to about 3000 BC when it began, and it started to weaken around 2000 BC. Now, these dates are not specific. You always have to put around or circa because they're not specific. They don't know exactly what years they actually began and ended, but those are roughly it. 6b, what caused the culture to weaken? Well, the Cycladic culture began to follow customs and traditions of dominant neighboring cultures. And dominant was one of our vocabulary words. Number 7a, where and when did the Minoan culture begin? Well, it began on the large island of Crete, which is just off the coast of Greece. It's a part of Greece. And it began about 2700 BC. So rough in the same time range as the Cycladic culture. 7b, for whom was the Minoan culture named? It was named for King Minos, M-I-N-O-S, the mythological king of Crete. And so I think you've been studying mythology or will be studying mythology. King Minos is one of the characters, one of the figures in mythology, Greek mythology. 8a, what did the Minoans begin to do in about 2000 BC? They began to build these large, richly decorated palaces. And 8b, what did archaeologists learn from wall paintings at Knossos? And that's with a silent K, Knossos. They learned from these paintings, these wall paintings, that the Minoans were expert sailors. Number 9, what new important technology did the Minoans develop? They developed the ability to form bronze. They mixed copper and tin to form bronze, and so they were one of the civilizations attributed to building things, making things out of bronze. Number 10A, what two systems did Minoans use to keep records of their trades? First, they had a counting system, which was actually a decimal system, had it based on 10, and a writing system, and they used pictographs. So a counting system and a writing system. Pretty advanced for a culture in the 2700, 2000 BC range. And 10B, what have archaeologists learned from reading Minoan tablets? Actually, nothing. The answer is nothing, because it was a little bit of a trick question. If you read that chapter, that paragraph, no one has ever been able to read Minoan language, and it was a language that has been undecipherable, and so kind of a trick question. They couldn't learn anything from reading those tablets. Looking at the time on this video, I'm going to go ahead and cut off here, and I'm actually going to do numbers 10 and 11, homeworks 10 and 11 on the next video. Thanks.